The objective of this lesson is to statistically compare two data sets using box plots and their interquartile ranges. In the previous lesson, we learned to construct a box plot using the 5-point summary of a data set. In this lesson, we will use those data points to compare two different box plots. First, let's review some vocabulary we've learned in previous lessons. The range is the difference between the greatest number and the smallest number in a data set. Quartile 1 is the median of the lower half of data, and quartile 3 is the median of the upper half of the data. Using our understanding of these vocabulary words, let's look at another vocabulary word, interquartile range, or IQR. If we break the word down, inter means between or in the midst of. Quartile refers to the quarter section or 1/4 of data. Using these definitions, we can conclude that the interquartile range is the range between the upper and lower quartile, or the range of the quartile 3 and quartile 1. When comparing the two boxes of cereal, we can find the interquartile range of each box plot. The interquartile range of the first box can be found by finding the difference or range between the Q3 and Q1. 212 minus 206 equals 6. We can find the interquartile range of the second box using the same method. 215 minus 207 equals 8. The interquartile range of the first box is smaller than the interquartile range of the second box. We can determine that the second box has more variability in the middle 50% of the data than the first box. We can see that the first bag, which represents the name brand, has less variability or a smaller number of chocolate drops than the second or generic package. This data can be used to determine which bag would be the best to buy. Assuming that the two bags cost and taste the same, the decision of which bag would consistently have the greatest number of chocolate-coated pieces needs to be considered. Students should be given the opportunity to build statistical arguments for and against each brand of cereal. This type of analysis helps students gain a greater understanding for why we reason about statistical data and the meaning behind the numbers. We found that if you want to make sure that you get the most consistent amount of chocolate-coated pieces in your cereal, you would want to choose the name brand cereal. The objective for this lesson was to compare statistically two data sets using box plots. We met this objective by finding the interquartile ranges for the data from two types of cereal boxes to determine which box of cereal had the most number of chocolate drops.